Hey guys, Jonathan here at Night Knowledge. Welcome to part 2 of my Tainted Grails rules video that will teach you specifically how to do combat and diplomacy. Don't forget though to check out my blog, nightknowledge.com. That will not only have this video, but it will also have a script that you can use to literally read to your friends to teach them the game. But without further ado, let's get started. This is the anatomy of the combat card. This is the amount of health a monster has. When defeated, you'll get the loot according to the bottom of the card. On the side are attribute keys that you line up with your combat cards to do damage and other effects. They match to your character stats on your character board. The blue connection on the monster card uses your magic if your character has any. At the start of combat, draw 3 cards from your combat deck. If you do not like these cards, you can mulligan and draw 1 less card each time. To start combat, you'll play a card. It has no restrictions or any special requirements. Go down the attribute keys and apply any effects if they match any of your stats. For example, to apply 1 damage at the top, you must have at least 1 cube of aggression on your character board to have a valid connection. Nothing connects in courage or practicality in this example, although this character has 1 cube of both attributes. The bottom of the card has a free connection bonus, which typically always connects, so apply 1 additional damage. Once you apply the attribute keys effects, resolve the ability of the card played. On this specific attack card, called Attack, the skull symbol means when the monster attacks, it'll do 1 additional damage to the active player. The bottom symbol, denoted by the hourglass, tells you to put a time delay token on the card, and are resolved at the start of the next active player's turn. On this specific card, it gives you the ability to draw 1 combat card when the time delay token is resolved. Remove the token. Any card after the first card that you play must have a connection with this yellow lightning bolt symbol. If you cannot play a card with a linking lightning bolt symbol, you cannot play the card. The lightning symbol is what allows you to chain cards together. As you can see, when connecting the Final Blow combat card, we are able to connect the card because the lightning bolt symbol is of courage, and we have at least 1 cube of courage on our character board. Magic is always an option for you. By paying a magic cube from your character resources, you can apply the effect, which in this case is to apply 1 damage cube to the vermin. Don't forget to evaluate the free key at the bottom, which in this case is to apply another damage cube. Lastly, evaluate the ability, which in this card, when the monster attacks, it loses 2 damage cube and deals 1 additional damage. Note, at the bottom of Final Blow, the free key has an X symbol, which means it will negate any effect when linked. If you choose to escape this monster, then the monster will get to do its opportunity attack, which in this situation is to run away. But some enemies attack and damage you instead. If you choose not to play any card on your turn, draw 1 card, and the monster will do their opportunity attack. Once you're happy with the cards that you've played, you'll check for victory, which is whether you've done enough damage to the monster. In this case we have because we've done more damage, and we'll get the loot. It will either say loot or reward at the bottom. The difference is, if it says loot, it is divided by the party, while if it says reward, each party member will get the reward. So in this situation, it says loot one food. So if there was a party, they would decide who gets the one food. If we have not defeated the monster will get to attack according to the combat table below. This combat table says that if we did 0 to 2 damage to it overall, then it deals 1 damage to us. If we have dealt 3 damage to it overall, then it would lose 1 damage cube, essentially regenerating its health. After the monster attacks, do another victory check because sometimes the monster adds cubes to themselves, essentially hurting themselves. After the monster attack, we'll do end of turn actions, which is to discard down to 3 cards, and each party member draws 1 combat card. If your character is panicked, which means your terror is above your health bar, instead of choosing your first card for combat, draw the first card from your deck instead. To play any additional cards, you must connect them via the lightning bolt symbol as usual. Also, when you're panicked, you do not draw any cards at the end of your turn. On any given combat card, there are one of 3 different combat bonus symbols. The yellow lightning bolt symbol, which are used to connect any additional combat cards together after the first card is played. The green cross symbol, which allows you to draw a combat card. And the cube symbols, which deals damage to the monster or guardian. Note the free key at the bottom of the monster and combat cards may have a multiplier. Some abilities state gain charges, and what you do is put cubes on the card to denote charges. And at other parts of the combat, you can remove charges to gain the effect. In this case, if a charge is used, next time the monster attacks, and if it is able to heal itself, it will heal 1 less cube, and you'll draw 1 card. Note that the attribute keys are on the right side of this card, meaning the ability will not be covered by the next card, which means you can use the charges on the next monster's attack. When in the party, players determine who will fight the monster first, and they become the active player. After the player plays their card, the monster will conduct a victory check, and if the monster isn't defeated, they will attack the active player. Once the monster attacks, there's a check to see who hasn't attacked the monster yet, and that player becomes the next active player. All combat cards stay on the table, and the next player plays their card on the sequence that is already there. If a player decides to escape combat, they pay 1 energy and suffer the opportunity attack. If they escape, they do not gain any rewards from combat if the rest of their party defeats the monster, but your cards stay in the sequence. Diplomacy is similar to combat for the most part. The main difference is that instead of applying damage cubes to enemy, you're trying to move your affinity tracker from the start area to the top of the green track. If it falls to the bottom of the track, you've lost, and apply the failure consequence to the right. Instead of the cubes that were used to deal damage to monsters in combat, in diplomacy, it is replaced with up arrow, which means to simply increase your affinity tracker. The other new symbol in diplomacy is this, which is called the varying power bonus. This varying power symbol does different things depending on the diplomacy challenge. In this case, though, it also increases the affinity tracker. So that concludes today's video for combat and diplomacy in Tainted Grail. Big thanks goes out to my friend Mike once again, who was able to provide me the time, expertise, and the game itself to bring you this video. I hope to see him again in some future videos, which will include some live gameplays of some board games. Don't forget to check out the rest of my channel for other videos on board games, video games, and other fun things. Thanks for watching today, and I'll see you next time.